Thank you, and good afternoon. Like it says, my name is Simon Wallace. I'm from Mindshare, and I'm going to talk to you for the next 7 or so minutes about cricket and how we partnered with our client and ecosystem partners to create the way in which we could respond to active data signals and change our messaging and communication with throughout those messages. So, what is Monty? Monty is a model and a process by which we're able to absorb data from our ecosystem partner Opta, utilize a model built by Google with their auto ML tables, and then respond and react to those signals and display customized creative to encourage people to come to watch the network. So why have we done this? Late last year, Foxtel bought the rights for cricket for about $600 million with the intent of launching a 24-hour cricket channel dedicated only to cricket. And what we're looking to do is say, how can we help them build that offering and that channel? Especially when the problem that they faced is previously cricket was free to air for 60 years. On top of this, the big matches will still remain to be free. So we needed to work and find a way to provide a tangible value offering that makes paying that money something of value to the consumer. So what we did was we looked at the way in which data can be used. And we looked at the data that's available in cricket. And also how people engage with cricket and how cricket is watched. A lot of people think about the exciting moments in cricket. And there is a viewpoint that cricket can be long and difficult to watch. But those exciting moments are the things people talk about. The wicket, the six that's been hit, the incredible ball that was bowled. So how can we look to find a way to drive content, drive communication around those key areas? And when you look at an average 30-hour game, and especially when looking at wickets, they make up about 18 seconds worth of action. So how can we use data in a way to provide that value offering to say, come and watch this moment, we think something's going to happen. So instead of watching replays, they start to watch live. So what we did was we partnered, like I said, with Opta to retrieve the data from each cricket match. We also partnered with Google, who, utilizing their AutoML tables, built a model which we could then feed and call at moments throughout the game and moments throughout the match to determine, with the goal, to predict whether a wicket will fall anytime within the next 5 minutes. We then took the model, took that prediction, and updated our communication strategy so that we could present that information across 3 main verticals. 1, instant predictions, where we were able to go within digital channels. 2nd, driving word of mouth for Monty across major cities in Australia. And 3rd, using insights through the Fox Cricket app and through Google Assistant to be able to engage in different ways. So what we were looking to do was ensure that not only have we got these insights within data, but making sure that we could act upon them in a repeatable, reliable, and effective way to change our communication strategy, to move it from a passive, I'll watch the highlights, to an active, I've got to click and I've got to go and watch this. And we did that with some success. What we found was that an 18% increase in sales over the period, an increase in 29% of our market share, and a 61% reduction in CPA across this time. And the key thing that we were looking at whilst we were doing this is, how do we ensure that we are not just taking a model and building a model for model's sake, which is why we focus so much on making sure that we included those predictions in the messaging, changing the messaging to ensure that it would drive connections, which we think it has done here. And again, it comes down to the important fact that we found is, it is fantastic to have a model that can build in predictions. And I'm sure many people probably would like to see what the predictions are for the World Cup coming up. But we needed to find a way of not only doing the cool data thing, but making sure that it was then directly applicable and usable for our client's objective to drive performance and to drive objectives. So, what are our key takeaways from this? we're entering, and we have been, and it's been said multiple times before, and I won't be the last one to say it, we're entering an era and a stage where data is ever more prevalent. And the things that we can do with it are going to be increasingly, for want of a better word, cooler. And we can do more with it. And especially in sports, fans are going to be wanting to see more and more than just the standard. They're going to want to find out more. And how can we do that, and how can we use that? So Monty's impact was clear. We were able to develop entirely new systems. We were working with ecosystem partners, and more importantly, we were then able to take that model, to take that insight, and act upon it in a way which then communicated directly with the consumer, and made it so instead of just creating and helping promote a new channel, trying to find a way to create a new way of interacting with the game and a new way of watching the game. Thank you very much. If you have any questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, any questions?
I guess related to how often were you right, and how did the consumers you felt you were communicating with feel about that?
Sorry, can you repeat the
How
question?
often were you right at predicting when the wickets were going to fall?
So the accuracy that Google returned to us, they estimated around 80%. But as much as anything, it was trying to promote and provoke the fact of, we anticipate a wicket will fall in the next 5 minutes. Now, there was actually a conversation about, are we ruining the sport? If we become really accurate, does that then remove the excitement from the event? What we were saying is, well, you know, we might be right, but it's a fact of come watch, come see, because we think this is going to happen. And this was built from 86 different variables, so it could have been the fact that a ball is really hot. So even if they weren't right, and even if it wasn't in the right way, one of the things we're looking at next is how can we incorporate all those other variables to say, instead of saying a wicket's going to fall in the next minute or next 5 minutes, you want to come here because this bowler is bowling better than he ever has before. This batter is hotter than he's ever been before. You know, moving it that way to make your point, then it doesn't become so much an accuracy problem, right, but it becomes more an interpretation of this is what we think is going to happen. Come watch because it's going to get exciting.
And would that have any impact on people's long-term viewing, because they would only tune in for the times when you said something was going to happen, or not?
That's an interesting question, and I can't tell the future. I'm good at my job, but I'm not that good. No, I think it's an interesting challenge and an interesting thing. I'd love to kind of see how that goes in the future.
Yeah, interesting.
This question's looking back at the past. So the 18% uplift that you quoted in terms of kind of sales, how did you get to that figure? Is that sort of looking at the typical run rate and then comparing it to what you would see after Monty's implementation?
The way in which we got that figure was we were looking at how many sales for the channel were in that period. So the week before versus the week after Monty's launch, how many sales were made.
Okay, so yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. So we move